Hey there, sports fans. Greg Matt from MKT USA and Medford Knife. Got Amy on the camera. We're kicking a little old school. Of course, as soon as we started a couple minutes ago, FedEx truck starts backing up. Beep, beep, beep. I mean, it's unbelievable the shit that all starts right when we turn the camera on. Anyway, send them to the South 40. So I got some knives going out to a new dealer, and I'll show those to you in a moment. You know, it's funny. You make friends with folks in the strangest ways. So I have a monk down in Tucson who is in a Greek Orthodox monastery down there. Those of you who care or know or heard or read, I was raised Greek Orthodox. In any case, at the monastery, one of the things they do at St. Anthony's is they make olive oil. So he's like he works in their machine shop. They have a machine shop and they have all kinds of stuff going on. So they make some olive oil. I, being the good Greek boy American that I am, like olive oil. Oh, and they sent me 3 bottles of St. Anthony's extra virgin olive oil. Oh. Anyways, I love getting a cool gift like that. It means a lot to me. I don't know. I think I made a knife with a big Greek Orthodox cross on it. So he's got like this big, badass, heavy-duty tactical folder with a Byzantine cross milled into the surface. It's kind of cool. Anyway, so that's for Sava and the boys down at St. Anthony's. I hope you're all doing well. Tell the Almighty that I said, hey ya. Let me show you some knives now. Am I boring you? My God, all I looked over, I saw the phone, and I saw above and below the phone your jaws. Your mouth was wide open.
Oh my gosh.
Yep, and like, here we go. This one needs to be cleaned off a little bit better. Okay. So you know that.
I do.
So these are going to a company called TriArc Systems. They're out in Mansfield, Texas. 2500 U.S. Highway 287N, must be north. That's in Mansfield, Texas, 76063. Your contact out there, if there's something here you see that strikes your fancy, because they got a couple of sexy time knives, is Joe Carlton. Joe's number's 254-217-1997. Joe.Carlton at TriArcSystems.com. TRIARC Systems.com. So, big thanks to Brett and Chris out there. Appreciate you guys, your patience, and appreciate you coming on board with us. I want to show you a few of the things that they have headed their way. Amy, there's a couple items that are discontinued here, right?
Yes,
so
those two primarily.
Yeah, so why don't you come down with the camera and I'll give everybody a little hi-di-ho. So 3 production Praetorians, clearly. Drop point Tontos, tumbled blades. These are really nice knives in the grand scheme of things. I love these knives. Oh yeah. Lovely, fucking lovely. And now we've got, let's start over here with a MIDI Marauder, M-I-D-I Marauder.
And that's the only Tonto I've ever seen. So.
How did that happen?
I don't know. I think it was.
Raul, how did we get a Tonto Marauder?
I think it was flukishly ordered and.
Someone ordered it on the spreadsheet and I asked you for a cut file for it. He gave me one.
Oh my God.
I think I only ever made 3 of them.
Wow, it actually is pretty good looking, isn't it?
Yeah, that's crazy.
All right, you guys. A sexy MIDI Marauder, and if somebody doesn't call him up and buy this knife 5 minutes after this video is up, the fucking sky is falling. It's got cool ladder pattern sculpting on it. It's been oxidized. It's got kind of opposing hardware in the kind of style that we like to do. It's a D2 blade. It's got a slightly different profile. I remember now when I drew this, I put a little arc to this to give it the right proportion so it didn't look so forward heavy. A little more elegant knife. We've also got a sexy version of this coming out pretty soon that is 1/8, 1/8, and 1/8. So it's a 3/8 thick knife. Very, very sexy in this size. A really cool gentleman's folder. We've also got this great drop point Praetorian Genesis, slotted lanyard breaker, fully sculpted opposing hardware, the new style clip. That's about the penultimate Praetorian, in my opinion, for everyday carry. Lovely knife. CPM 3V Praetorian T. That is definitely kicking old school. It's got a almost polished blade. Oh my gosh.
I know, that's beautiful.
That's got a near polished blade, which you can't even order. And the action on this thing is fucking heavenly. Wow, that's a sexy knife. Slightly bronze oxode. And
Brushed clip too.
yeah, brushed clip. Oh yeah, the clip is brushed. Man, this is a sexy knife. And a lanyard hole, integral lanyard hole breaker. All black PVD D2 drop point, flame hardware, flame clip. That is a sexy knife. Drop point Praetorian T. God, I can't even believe the action on this.
I know.
Did you feel it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. Meow. And
So
Viper. This group of guys we've got building knives right now is fantastic.
That's one of the very last Vipers in-house. We have one more that's available. Other than that, that's it.
This one's got a little sticky, so I'd like to go back and get hands on it
Okay.
again, okay? We've got a General here. CPM, S35 VN. Oh, this is an S35 VN tuxedo, nearly blacked out General. Really, really cool knife. But the market didn't buy enough for me to keep it around, so it's getting retired. We've got the couple of Genesises.
Infractions.
Infraction. And Sherman. Oh, it's a really nice Sherman. So that's in PVD, a little brush bolster area on it. Really sexy set of knives. And yeah, so they're headed out to Texas. I hope you guys call these guys up, patronize them a little bit, as much as you can. Texas is starting to come on pretty strong for us, so we're really excited to be getting these out to them. They do gunsmithing, and they were talking about a training academy and range and all that stuff. So I don't know how far along that is, but I know that was all part of the discussions we had with them.
I know when I spoke with Brett yesterday, he has a 1911 frame he wanted to send out to you if you were in the mood to assemble it. You guys had talked about it before.
Oh, he wants me to put one together?
He said that you knew somebody out here and he had all the parts in the frame, so.
Send it out. Yeah, send it out.
Cool.
You know I like making 1911s. All right, cool. Well, yeah, I know a guy, right? I got about 6 of them in my safe right now that need to be put together. I'm like, ugh. So anyways, you guys, a really cool little batch of knives with some sexy stuff on them. These guys placed some really interesting knife combo orders back when we were still doing that for people. So we're still making them. But it's really the tail end of the crazy make-to-order method that we've been using for the last few years. Hopefully you guys will see what we're doing and see what we're trying to do and how we're trying to serve everyone a little bit better by narrowing our offerings just a little bit. And I don't know, did anybody want to see, do you think anybody wants to see the
I was
new...
like, when are you breaking that out? Because
Yeah, let them take a look at
Yeah.
it. So this is a new thing, it's called the Smooth Criminal. It's a little tiny guy, it doesn't even have a blade on it yet, it's a button lock that we're making. And this is the first prototype. And this thing is sexy, it feels awesome, it's a little tiny knife, look how small it is compared to the Midi Marauder. You're going to see these things around. This is a cool knife. Now, in its final iteration, you're going to see this will be a fully contoured and sculpted side on both sides. And big drop point blade. It'll be a great gentleman's pocket knife. Tough as shit. Very, very lightweight. And those are all going to be hard anodized handles with, premium steel blades. Pretty cool knife. Called the Smooth Criminal. We got that coming out. The guys, they're building the tooling and getting ready for our the new Balisong to finally the final version of the Balisong to hit the streets. Hey Raul, how's the Burung coming along?
Building the fixture right now. We should have a prototype today.
Okay, so they're putting together the fixture for the new Burung, the final Burung. I'll tell you, I usually can get a knife in the first 3 cracks pretty solid. The Praetorian's been through 4 or 5 variants, getting to where it is right now, which I think is a pretty mature design. I think the infraction may have some evolution as time goes by, but I think it's a pretty mature design. The Marauders had some subtle adjustments made to it. It's pretty mature. Clearly the Gigantes, which I carry the short version called the Proxima, it had some stuff done to it to get it to where it's at right now. This is actually my favorite knife I've ever made. And I just find everything about this knife super pleasing. But the Burung took 8 versions. And I think it's why you don't see a lot of frame lock Burung Malaysian style, karambit style knives. There's a couple new complexities to them. And the way I did that one with so much space in it and kind of elegant made it even more challenging. So after finally running her around the barnyard 5 or 6 times on our 8th version, we decided in on a version. Now we've made tooling for it, and now we'll start. The knife's going to start hitting the streets here pretty quick. Super, super cool knife, and it ended up all titanium, no carbon fiber. So we got a lot of cool stuff going on. We've got our double disc grinder. I was just out in Detroit. The double disc grinder, I finished up some choices on that, so they'll deliver that to us. I just bought 2 new VF2s yesterday, which reminds me I got to get on the phone with the bank today about those. So I got 2 new VF2s for some stuff that we want to do, and I've got a lot of cool stuff going on, a lot of cool parts in play here, and we're really looking forward to being able to bring more knives, and we're going to have some knives we bring in that come in at a little lower price point. I don't have the numbers on this done yet, but we're talking about a $275 knife. That's what we're hoping. So there's a lot of stuff we're trying to do to bring our get our price point down into kind of regular non-knife lunatic territory. For our knife lunatics, we'll of course continue to make super high-end and expensive knives, and we also want to come up with a style of super high-end knife that was a little more affordable. So a little bit of the same race that everybody's been in, but I'm not interested in a $100 knife. I'm not interested in a $150 knife. I'm not interested in a Asian import or a cheap piece of crap. I'm interested in a really, really, really nice high-end American-made knife, 100% high-end, 100% handmade in America, with parts that are 100% sourced here in Phoenix. And I think, and when I say parts, I mean some of the Swiss turn stuff. I don't have the capability to make, but that's happening right here in town locally. So I'm not bringing any of this stuff in from China. A lot of folks, I can tell when I look at a knife, and they say the sides and the blades are American made, and they say the blade costs, and the knife's $175. What that means, in all likelihood, all of the hardware was imported from Asia. And the thing people don't realize, let's take the Praetorian for instance. If you look at a Praetorian T like this one right here, the hardware that's on this knife costs as much as all the material for the knife. People don't realize that. They say, well, there's only $30 worth of material. There's almost $30 worth of screws when you start getting into proprietary hardware, hardened pivot drums at custom lengths and all that stuff. It starts getting really expensive. And, so I've got an unrelenting drive to keep it all 100% made here in America. And, I won't even let anything be sourced from outside of Phoenix. The only thing I've sourced at this point on this knife is these 2 screws. These 2, the button lock. The button lock I had outsourced. Anyways, we've got a bunch of cool things happening, and several new guys in assembly, and a great batch of stuff head out to Texas. I hope you guys enjoy it. Call them up, give them some support. I know they could use a little love from you from around the country. Greg Medford from Medford Knife, MKT USA. Amy on the camera. I'm out!